This is the visitor center for the Caverns, Blanchard Springs, Arkansas.
So down there, that's the first place they would have entered this cave here. It's a 91-foot sinkhole that enters the cave system. And then down below, on either direction, it's about a half a mile towards us. And then most of that cave stretches back in the other direction. And the main person that did exploration down in that part of the cave was Roger Bottoms. He took large groups down here to explore a lot of this cave system. And then around 1960, Hugh Shell and Hale Bryant, they were from Batesville, Arkansas. They were hired to look for a possible fallout shelter. And this cave was being considered for that. So they did a lot more exploration. And eventually they came to the room below us, that discovery room. That is a 100 by 100 by 100 foot room space. And there's a huge wall that they would have had to climb up. At the top, towards the ceiling, there was what's called Terra Rosa clay. And this clay is normally at the bottom of a room. So they knew there must be another level somewhere higher up. So they tried again and again. And on their 27th attempt, in the fall of 1963, they scaled that 100-foot cliff wall, crawled 25 feet, and popped their heads up down here to this room. And there's a little blue light down there that we will show you guys in just a minute. But it was a 14 and 16-year-old boy that first entered this cave here. Now, they don't know how large this room is because they have carbide headlamps. It's a flame in front of a mirror, so they can't see the entire size of the room, but perhaps they could use an echo to see just how big this room is. So if you guys want to join me, we will do our own echo. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys seem a little bit nervous about this. Now when I count to 3, we're going to yell hello to the rest of the cave, and then we're going to try to get quiet after to hear it. All right? You guys with me?
Yeah.
All right, ready? In 1, 2, 3. All right, so this room is 1,150 feet in length. That is almost 4 football fields. 3 of those are in front of us and 1 behind us. And a lot of this room, at one point, this was all an ancient sea. All of Arkansas eventually piled up with seashells, organic material, and it piled up this limestone rock. And this limestone is our ceiling, our walls, and our floor here. Eventually this space, the Ozark Plateau, uplifted, and so any cracks in the ground, water got in, became more acidic. That is called carbonic acid, when water and carbon dioxide mix. And then this room filled with water expanded to the whole cave system, and then it drained out through Blanchard Springs. So now any water dripping through is made of calcite here. And this calcite, this has a hardness of 3 on Mohs hardness scale. For reference, a diamond is a 10, and your fingernail is 2.5. Now, I told you guys you can't touch a rock today, but I'm going to make an exception, and you guys can pass this around. Take a look at this crystal. You can pass it around, take a look at it, pass it to the back, and then sit it on the bleachers back there. This calcite is pretty heavy. It's 3 times the weight of water. Here you guys go. Take it to the back. And it makes up all of these formations around us, these decorations. Now, real quick, I want to quiz you guys on a few of these decorations here. Do you guys know what hangs tight to the ceiling down below us? Sorry, Bubba's. What are these called?
Stalactites.
Stalactites, that's right. With a C for ceiling and they hang tight. Now, how about what rises up from the ground?
Stalagmites.
Yep, stalagmites with a G for ground, and they might reach the ceiling. So how about when stalactites and stalagmites unite? Yep, that's right, we call it a column. This one here is 65 feet tall. It'll look a little bit different when we get down to the bottom, so just keep a mental image of that column there. And one more, how about on the walls here? What do these look like here? Oh, I think I heard it. Icicles, that's good. Yeah, waterfalls I also heard. These are curtains here. This is a continuous curtain wall. It stretches 900 feet in length. This will follow us on our entire walking through on the left side. It is the longest continuous curtain wall in all of North America that we have here. So, quite a beautiful sight. Does anyone have any questions before we start? No? All right.
What's the elevation here?
We are roughly 220 feet below the surface right here. Yeah. Down at that point will be 240 feet below the surface. That'll be the deepest point at the bottom of that column there. Yeah. All right, well, let's see some more cave. You guys go ahead and follow me. Affects the growth of these decorations here. We're going to keep moving here. I'll show you a better example of that flowstone, that sparkling calcite that's on the wall. Side. This area that's lit up, this is called the opera box. It's named that after the person that did lighting for most of this cave. His name was Miroslav Klug. He was famous for lighting opera houses in Europe and also places in Washington, D.C. and New York City. So he thought he would tackle lighting this entire cave system, which he thought would take 6 months, and it took him 3 times that at a year and a half. So we have our curtains or drapes up here, a balcony area, even some ornate columns reaching up to the ceiling. And standing up there is our audience for us. It's very strange. They never leave this spot. They're always up there. Now across the room, you guys see a shape that's lit up over there? So that is our U.S. battleship over there. It's actually a slab from the ceiling that's fallen on top of the curtains, and then smaller stalagmites growing on top of that. It also kind of looks like a city skyline over there. That is named after the people that worked on these trails, these concrete paths that we are on right now. They were World War II and Korean War veterans. So it took them about 10 years to build this trail out from 1963 to opening in 1973. They had cement brought from the surface, water pumped from the stream that's below us, about 120 feet lower than us right here. And then they had 5-gallon buckets and wheelbarrows walking over all this rubble you see here in the middle. Alright, so we are now standing at the back side of the cathedral room. You guys can see way down where we just came from is the bleachers we were sitting on earlier. This room is crescent shaped, so you can't exactly see end to end, but for the most part, we can see the most of the length of this room here. Now, a lot of this space in this cathedral room, it eventually goes to the choral room. So you guys see that blue light up on our right side here. Blue lights show passages to other parts of the cave, just like the entrance that I talked about in the beginning. Some other blue lights just lead to rooms where some crystals are growing in large numbers. Now that is a pretty steep climb to get to the choral room. So they would have had to put stair steps if they were building this for a tour, which means that some people who are handicapped, anyone in a wheelchair, or even kids using strollers, they would not be able to do this tour here. So instead what they decided to do was use what's behind us, this mountainside, and opened a bypass tunnel. So this is 270 feet in length here. They drilled down adjacent to the cave and then glassed it out with dynamite in both directions. So, the last 10 feet, since they were trying to be careful with these decorations on the walls, they dug by hand. They used pneumatic tools so they didn't harm anything on either side in the core room or the cathedral room. So we're going to walk through there in just a minute. You'll see on the ceiling that we walk through there are molly bolts. It is 6 to 8 foot metal rods drilled in to hold that in place for us walking through there. We're going to walk about halfway down and sit in front of that tunnel.
This is a tunnel that they dug between compartments.
This tunnel shaft is 141 feet to the surface, which means that's how far down we are at this point. This is 15 feet in diameter. You can see the edge of where this was drilled here in the tunnel. That would have been open to outside, so that any blast of dynamite traveled out into the air instead of into the mountain side here. So we've actually left the cave temporarily. We are walking through a part of the mountain for this Ozark plateau. And then we will re-enter the cave in another 130 or 40 feet or so down there. Alright, so this was also a place where rubble was taken out of the cave. They brought an entire diesel engine down through this tunnel shaft to help with digging out a lot of the material. Yeah. Alright, now on the wall here, this is limestone on our ceiling, and then there's a layer of shale here. This dark rock is very compressed, so water can't pass through, it has to go over it. This is 53 years of calcite growing here. Not a lot of growth, there's 3 little strips here of calcite growing. And then you can see a little bit of that orange rust, and then any of the yellow is sulfur or pyrite, fool's gold, that's growing there in the wall. So.
Maybe one day you can grow up and do exact.
Water can move too fast for any calcite to grow, so it does the opposite. And you guys can see, I've already had a few people mention these brown piles here. These are bat guano piles, or bat poop. So this is the highlight of this room. These tell us that bats used to hibernate in this area. They sit in huge numbers on the ceiling. So they will mark their territory, kind of like dogs, by peeing on the ceiling in big numbers, and then they'll poop on the ground below. So,
Apparently it makes good coffee, right?
it might make good coffee. It makes good gunpowder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as well.
I did not know that.
We're going to go down to these bleachers here on the right side. You guys can sit anywhere on these seats. They should all be dry. And one reason we can speculate is that behind us used to be a natural entrance into this room. And if anyone remembers, I haven't seen one yet. I'm still keeping my eyes open, looking for them. But those get about 6 inches in length. So, technically, the bats would be the largest animal in the cave here. But they are not eating inside. They leave twice a night. You guys get a special treat. We don't take every group up here to the coral pond here, but when this is filled with water, this area that is lit up is filled with puddles, pools, and then it flows over and builds a little pool that's below us as well. So this area is not lit up, but it's not very deep down here. It's about 10 feet or so down.
This is awesome. Wow. This one's all the spikes.
Yeah, you got it. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Cheese. You got it. Yeah.